Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings for Friday, July the 26th. Like always, we got a big Friday night slate, 14 games today. It's a pretty interesting slate, just looking at pitching and batting, like where we're going to want to go with our hitters. Looking at the pitching, top three options over 10K. Only three guys over 10K on a 14-game slate. And I would say all three of them are in less than ideal matchups except for Zach Greinke. Obviously, Greinke is in a very favorable spot against the Marlins, but Ryu for 11-2 against the Nationals doesn't feel like a guy I have to pay up for. Lance Lynn against Oakland doesn't feel like a guy I have to pay up for. Zach Greinke I do like against the Marlins, but Zach Greinke is one of those pitchers I just feel like I never need to win a tournament. Like, it doesn't feel like Greinke ever helps me win a tournament. So we're definitely going to talk about some of these mid-range guys. There's a lot of good plays in this mid-range. Just hitting on a couple that stand out. Lucchesi against the Giants at 7,700. Plesac against the Royals at 7,300. Griffin Canning against the Orioles, 7,200. And then when you get down here to the value tier, you got Kikuchi against the Tigers. Jose Urquidy against the Cardinals for only 5K. Just feels like the easiest value play of the slate. So I feel like this is definitely a slate where I'm going to be really paying up for bats and going cheap at pitching. None of the expensive pitchers I feel like I have to have. We'll be sure to go through the whole player pool, though. I'll be sure to hit on all the guys I like. We'll start off with pitching, then we'll look at some hitters I like. We'll talk about some stacks. Then towards the end of the video, we'll look at some BVP plays as well. Just before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. So I mentioned these three guys at the top over 10K, Ryu, Lance Lynn, and Zach Greinke. My favorite of these three guys would definitely be Zach Greinke against the Marlins. But Zach Greinke on this slate just doesn't feel like a pitcher that I think I have to have. Like, Greinke's had big games this year. And out of his last 10 games, he does have one game over 30 DraftKings points against the Rockies where he went 7 innings with 9 Ks, only allowed 4 hits. That was a big game from Greinke, but other than that, Greinke usually is around the mid-20s to like high 20s in DraftKings points. And I feel like we can just get 20, 25 DK points from a ton of guys in this mid-range. So I don't think I'm going to be really spending at pitcher today. I like some of these mid-tier plays. I mentioned three guys, Lucchesi, Plesac, and Canning. Three guys I really like. We'll start off with Griffin Canning. He's definitely one of my favorites of this mid-range tier. So he gets a matchup at home against the Orioles. I think this is a very favorable spot for Canning. We look at the Orioles' implied run total in this matchup. Right now, Canning is a heavy favorite, minus 224. Asher Wojciechowski is going to be pitching for the Orioles, and I know he had a great game in his last outing against the Red Sox, but this is not a guy that I think's like become an elite pitcher. Still a guy we can definitely stack against. We see it in the run total, 6.1 implied run total for the Angels. Heavy favorite for Canning. Orioles only have a 4 implied run total, which is towards the bottom of the slate. So I really like Canning here. I think he has a lot of upside. This is the Orioles team that will strike out versus right-handed pitching. Canning does have K upside. We look in his last 10 games. Does have a game in there with 8 Ks against Oakland, 7 Ks against Tampa Bay, 6 and a couple starts against Oakland, against Texas, and his last start against Seattle. He's been definitely up and down this year. Hasn't been an elite pitcher by any means, but against this Orioles team, we could definitely see him go out there and get 7 innings of 6, 7 Ks, get a win, get 25 DraftKings points. Be a really good play at 7,200. So I like going to him a lot. I mentioned Lucchesi, you could definitely consider at 7,700. I mentioned Zach Plesac, you could go to at 7,300. Those are two guys I wouldn't mind considering. But I do want to talk about Jose Urquidy all the way down here at 5K. He just feels like one of the easiest value plays of the slate. I don't know why he's this cheap. His last start against Texas, I'm pretty sure he was pretty popular, and he went out and just mowed down the Texas team. 7 innings, only allowed 2 hits, 1 run, got 9 strikeouts, 34 DraftKings points in his last start against Texas. He's only made 3 starts this year. One of them was in Coors Field, and then the other one was against the Angels. So he's had 2 really tough matchups. He finally got a good matchup against Texas, and he did really well. Now he gets to face the Cardinals. I would say a pretty good matchup as well. This is a Cardinals team that's pretty watered down. They've been hitting the ball well lately. Like Paul Goldschmidt's really been heating up. Same with Paul DeJong. But still not a team that I think is that good offensively. There are some strikeouts in this Cardinals lineup as well. My only concern with Urquidy is since it is a National League game, he is going to have to hit. So maybe he gets pulled earlier than normal. Like, say if he's at 70 pitches and he comes up in the batting order it's his turn to hit, they decide to pinch hit for him, which would be pretty annoying. But I still think he's such a good play at 5K. You really don't need much from him to return value on this price. Even if he gets 15 DraftKings points, he's still going to be a pretty good value. And if he goes out there and gets 20, 25, which I think he has definitely a possibility to do in this matchup, then he's probably going to be a guy that you kind of have to have. So at 5K, I love going to your Urquidy. You pay for Canning and your Urquidy, you still have over 4,700 remaining per player, so you can pretty much play just about any hitter you want. So that's kind of where I'm going to be looking to go on the slate, just spinning down for these mid-range value pitchers and just spinning up on a ton of bats. There are some teams I really like who we'll talk about. I think the Yankees have a ton of upside today against Andrew Cashner. There's a couple other high totals on the slate. The Twins have a high total against Dylan Cease. Obviously, the Angels versus Wojciechowski, a team you could definitely consider. 5 total for the Mariners against Daniel Norris. We'll talk about the Yankees, though. The Yankees are by far my favorite stack today since we have the salary to pay up for them. But we'll look at a few more pitchers before we move on to bats. So obviously I talked about the top guys, like guys like Soroka, Zach Wheeler, Michael Pineda. Looking at their salaries for today, like $9,900 for Soroka against the Phillies. Just don't feel like I need to pay that price for him. Not the best matchup, and he's also pretty expensive. Same can be said for Zach Wheeler. Wheeler's a good pitcher, but at home against the Pirates, a team that doesn't strike out much, Wheeler's $9,200. Don't feel like I really need to pay for him. Michael Pineda's in a favorable spot against the White Sox, but at $9K, do I really need to pay $9K for Michael Pineda on a 14-game slate? I don't think so. I think we can get similar production for cheaper. So I'm going to really be living in this mid-range with the guys I talked about in this mid-range and then paying down for Urquidy. So let's go ahead and talk about some bats now. I did mention the Yankees. They are a team that I really like today. Definitely going to be a stack I look to against Cashner. Cashner's been a little bit better this year, but his last 2 starts he's made since he got traded to the Red Sox haven't been that great. He's made 2 starts with the Red Sox. I believe his last 2 against the Blue Jays and against the Orioles were not that good. He gave up 2 home runs, 8 hits, 6 runs through 5 innings against the Blue Jays. Then in his last start against the Orioles, he went 6 innings but did allow 6 hits, 4 runs, and gave up 2 home runs in that start. Cashner's always been pretty bad against right-handed hitters, and this Yankees lineup is just loaded with right-handed hitters who have a ton of power. LeMahieu, Judge, Encarnacion, Voit, Torres. Really, really scary spot for Cashner in Fenway Park. So I'm going to be loading up on Yankees bats, starting off with DJ LeMahieu. I like paying up for him at second base or third base. He does have dual position eligibility, so if you want to stack the Yankees and you want to play like LeMahieu and Torres, you can still do that. You can play LeMahieu at third base, and then you can play Torres at second base, or you can play Torres at shortstop. But if you want to play Didi, then you're going to have to play Torres at second base. So given how the flexibility works, it's a pretty easy stack to do. You can play Torres at second, LeMahieu at third, Didi at short. You can play Encarnacion at first, and then you can load up the outfield with Hicks and Judge. That's an easy 5-man stack. If you're playing on Yahoo, that's an easy 6-man stack that you can do. But I love LeMahieu here, leading off. Obviously, has had a great year, has shown a lot of power. The power's been up for LeMahieu, making a ton of contact, barely striking out this year. I know he has a very low K rate. Now he gets to face Cashner, a pitcher who really struggles to right-handed hitters, gives up home runs to right-handed hitters. Love this spot for LeMahieu. Love this spot for Gleyber Torres. Really like Edwin as well at 5,500. But can't go wrong with Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is my second play. I like a lot in the outfield at 5,500. So we know how much power Judge has, and we know how good of a hitter he is. And now he gets to face Cashner, who, like I said, just really been struggling to right-handed hitters. There are a couple of guys in this Yankees lineup that have hit Cashner well. Didi's gone 7 for 22 with the home run. Aaron Judge does have some BVP against Cashner, 4 for 13 with the home run. Gleyber has really good BVP off of Cashner, 6 for 13 with 2 home runs. So love Judge and love LeMahieu. 2 guys I'm definitely going to be loading up on today, whether it's full Yankee stacks or mini stacks, whatever you want to do. They're a team I'm really going to be going all in on. And then another team I like is the Angels. I know that Asher Wojciechowski had a good start in his last start against the Red Sox, but I'm not really buying into it. Neither is Vegas with a 6.1 implied run total for the Angels. I don't think I need to play guys like Renfrigo and Smith and Calhoun on this slate, but the top 3 or 4 hitters, Trout, Ohtani, Upton, Fletcher, definitely going to be looking to since I have the salary to pay up for them. So love Mike Trout today, 5,800. just a ton of power, one of the best hitters in the league, if not the best hitter in the league. Now he gets to face Asher Wojciechowski, who is a pitcher that will give up home runs through the few starts he's made this year. We'll pull up the game log real quickly. Look at the starts that he's made this year. So he's faced Tampa Bay, Toronto, and then Washington and Boston. So in his first start against Tampa Bay, he went 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, 4 runs, did give up a home run in that start. Against Toronto, went 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, did give up a home run in that start. Against Washington, he went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 home runs in that start. And then obviously we know how the start how his last start against the Red Sox went, where he just pitched an absolute gem, just mowed down the Red Sox. Not like I said, not buying into that. Do like the Angels here, especially Trout, Ohtani, and Upton. Those are the 3 guys I'm really going to be considering. I don't think I'm going to be doing like 5-man Angel stacks, but the top 2 or 3 hitters, Trout and Ohtani, obviously we do want to pay up for today since we have the salary. So love my Trout. I was all over him on Thursday slate. Going to be going right back to him on Friday night since we got the salary to fit him in. So these are my 5 plays today for DraftKings, guys. Now let's go ahead and talk about some stacks that I like. Then we'll look at some BVP before we end the video. So my favorite stack by far is the Yankees. Just love them here versus Andrew Cashner. We paid down at pitching, so we've got the salary to fit them in. I'm going to be paying down at pitching in a lot of my lineups today, so I'm going to be going all in on the Yankees, just a team that I love. But then some other teams you could definitely consider. If you want to go to some Dodgers versus Anibal Sanchez, I don't think that's the worst idea. Same could be said for some Braves against Arrieta. Arrieta, never a pitcher I feel like I should be afraid to stack against. You can definitely stack against Arrieta. He gives up home runs to lefties. He struggles with holding runners. He allows stolen bases. So the Braves do have a lot of upside here. Then obviously I like the Angels with a 6.1 implied run total against Wojciechowski. But other than that, I don't really see any other teams I feel like I'm going to be going too heavy on. Mostly going to be the Yankees, the Angels, and the Braves. Probably some Dodgers bats as well. I like. But let's go ahead and look at some BVP real quick before we end the video. So I talked about some of the BVP from the Yankees guys against Cashner, but other BVP plays you have. Let's see here. Jackie Bradley Jr. gone 4 for 10 off of James Paxton. A couple of these Marlins have hit Greinke well. Starlin Castro's gone 9 for 28 with the home run. Neil Walker gone 8 for 30 with 4 home runs off Greinke. Like I said, I mentioned the Yankees BVP against Castro. Didi, Judge, and Torres have all hit him well. Ryan Goins gone 5 for 11 off of Michael Pineda. And one more BVP play we'll go over. Manny Machado gone 5 for 13 with 2 home runs off Jeff Samardzija. So that's it for BVP today, guys. I think that is it for this video. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and hopefully it did help you. I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Or like always, you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GO. Feel free to message me on Twitter if you have any questions. Or like I said, you can leave them down in the comment section. I'm always reading comments, replying to your comments, replying to your questions if you have any. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you checking out the video. Good luck on this Friday night slate. Peace.